You smell a cover-up, because if you say...
It's not smell, it's all over.
Because if you say you have been able to trace... Because if you say you have been able to trace much more than what has been released over the weekend, you think that there's a cover-up somewhere?
Listen, I really don't like, because I have a lot on my plate, I don't like to go beyond what I'm doing. But if I listen to that guy that just left, look, you see, in criminal law, you don't deviate. If you have labeled these people as looters, that means they stole. Am I correct? So you don't treat it like you are treating a civil case. Nobody can return.
Did you see the list? When it finally came out, they didn't use the word loot. They said recoveries.
Okay, well, recovery how? You see, that is the thing. If you are recovering stolen funds, let us know. That is a criminal matter. And when you are dealing with a criminal case, the criminal suspect does not call the shot. Hello?
Are they calling the shots?
Yeah, they are. If they say don't mention my name.
No, but the law...
No, it doesn't. No, let's talk about law.
Just a minute.
If
the country...
I have another case with Adoke on my recovery.
You will speak about that in a moment.
Adoke accepted 175
the thing about this country, we have a presumption of innocence.
No, I've listened to the listen.
Let me put that in before you comment.
If you are bringing money
you hold on? Let me.
You don't understand what I'm saying.
Just a minute. Because you will explain.
Okay.
Just hang on. You will explain, because there's still the presumption of innocence, which is what the SAN said. That a man is innocent. Not right. A man is not innocent until proven guilty.
The presumption of innocence is there, but when you are now admitting your culpability, like he said, you see, he was contradicting himself. If you know criminal law, he thank you. He talked about plea bargain. Now, first you look at how are these monies returned. If they are not charged criminally, if they came to you and said, oh, we have stolen money, but we want to return some. First, how do you determine the scope of what they stole? 1. 2, why would you accept such money without making them plead guilty legally? So you have now turned this a possible criminal case into a civil case.
You understand
what I'm saying?
I want you to put it into perspective. A minute. I'll put this into perspective.
Right.
If someone is giving you money, maybe to do some kind of business, would you be asking the source? For instance, for those who got monies and they thought it was monies meant for campaign for the 2015 election, and they felt it was monies realized from maybe funds.
I know exactly what you're saying. I blew the whistle on the man.
So, if the money comes to you, for instance,
I know.
you get to hear that that money was not actually from that source, and you return it, are you guilty?
Yes, because if you have to maintain, listen to me. If you gave me money to say the PDP, let's be real precise here. Say Fani Kayode in Lagos has a known job
let's ignore people real life.
All right. Okay. Let's say
because of some matters. Okay.
Let's say Judge Ubo, I'm working for you legally. You send me money, and I'm able to document what I spend the money on. Now, law enforcement comes to arrest me. I will never return a dime. However, if, like in some cases, the money you sent me, there are some monies left in the account that I didn't use to execute what I'm supposed to execute, then they can get me. I hope you understand where we're going. You understand? So, but if I got the money from you to do a job you said I should do, I won't refund anything.
The thing about all of this, if I understand what you're saying, are you saying then that we shouldn't presume them innocent?
Who?
Whoever.
No, the presumption of innocence is grounded in criminal law. I'm not denying that.
So what
we are talking
what's
about
your point exactly?
My point is these ones that they said that you started by saying the people that were not named.
Yeah.
Okay, that is what I'm saying. Are we dealing with criminal case or civil case? Because they have criminal, of course, is different standard. So civil is different.
What do you think should have been done?
Thank you. Like in my case, you can't say I shouldn't publish. If, say, an ex-minister on the run comes and says, look, I have 1 billion naira I want to return. You don't accept it without going through the criminal, procedure. Because you know why? Look at the case that Serap won against Okonjo-Iweala. You have people like us. We are love to get documents under the Freedom of Information Act. You still have the public interest. So if you received that money, you're out of government today. Another government comes and said, hey, we found this transaction you did. But I returned it to him. But the record is not there, or there was no formal way of... So, you don't look at the instant, you have to look at the totality of the circumstances here and what could happen. And so you are running afoul of the law by accepting this money without going through the proper procedure.
The recovery list.
The Department of Justice in the U.S. will never ask you, you're a criminal, I'm returning money, Robin Hood or whatever. No way.
We're running out of time.
Right.
So that is why you should still allow some time for us to put some questions before you.
Right.
For the list that was released over the weekend, do you have an idea if some of those you traced were among those that came out on Saturday?
I speak objectively, and I always use the word overwhelming and irrefutable evidence when I come out. I'm going to reserve that. It's neither here nor there. If and when I decide to speak on that, I will have my facts. I think I should leave it there.
But you also just said that whatever you traced, you're willing to go out and publish them.
No, it's published already, because I'm based in Abuja. I'm always on WeFM, Silverbird, AITO, and MCO. I mean, they all have all these documents. It's nothing new. Because I have to make it public anyway, so that in case anybody runs into some form of duplication, they know this is George Ibo's work.
Is it part of the agreement you had when you were contracted to publish those names when you traced them?
I don't need to have any agreement.
No, if they contracted
it's public record. What are you talking about?
If they contracted you,
yes.
Say, let's do this for us. Are you not going outside the scope rather than submit it to them?
I've submitted to them. You don't, because you have not seen it. I've submitted to them before. Not only did I submit to them, before I even went public, I wrote the AGF 3 letters, and the second one was a 7-day notice.
The current AGF?
Of course, it's the current AGF I'm working with. The second letter said if you don't respond within 7 days, that means you have drawn the battle line. That was when I even went into the president and the media. And I know the rule. I'm not going to just... I wrote him 3 letters, and he ignored the letters.
The documents you used for your tracing, how did you get them?
I can't disclose that to you.
Okay, did you go based on the Freedom of Information?
I can't disclose that to you.
I thought you mentioned...
Yeah, I can mention the way that is my intellect. That is how I get my. No, it's like asking me how did you get the 3 boxes of evidence against the FCC. That is my work.
I've not asked you.
You are blessed with your work. I'm blessed with the gift I have to get these things.
I've not asked you where you got them.
Right.
I'm asking, is it based on the Freedom of Information Act you got the documents?
Now we are particularizing it. I can't disclose that.
Okay, let's put that on the other side.
Okay.
But based on what you've done, you said here that the federal government should have gone through the legal process before coming up with this list that they've decided to come out with.
They didn't come up with it. What I'm saying is that from the anomaly here now, because it is an anomaly, you are going to have a lot of issues from the Freedom of Information Act, public interest, to future governments. So if you are going to treat this matter, and listen, I don't know what I may die tomorrow, but what I'm saying, someday people will say, George said this. You can't accept money from someone if it's quasi-criminal, as if you are doing a civil. If it's civil, when Michael Jackson settled the child abuse case, you can see the document. But this is a criminal matter. You don't just say, okay, pay this money to this account. That means you have refunded or whatever you stole. No. It's very wrong.
So what do you hope to do next?
Well, the president is looking into the issue. And I pray for him because I know previous presidents had written petitions against EFCC that didn't do anything. So for him to even have queried the AGF, kudos to him. I know too what he's facing, and it's so unfortunate any president has been elected and ready, willing, and able to fight corruption, ill health, and all that. But it's an interesting case that money's traced. And I want to tell you this. This is over $1 billion in 27 days. I discussed with AGF before I was engaged. The database I have, 70 billion US dollars in the banks in Nigeria. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, 75 billion US dollars.
Currently in Nigeria.
Yes. Keystone Bank alone is $582 million, one of the smallest banks. Look, what I'm saying to you is the fact. It's just that nobody in Nigeria wants to deal with it. And that is exactly what is going on. How can people that stole money now say we will refund but don't mention our names? It is the same impunity we're talking about.
Well, the thing about it is that it's
so the banks are the most culpable. I call them the banking sector mafia. Access Bank called me on March 3rd that they had just finished seeing the AGF, and AGF promised them he would come into soft pedal. 11 a.m., they called me around 9:30 a.m. 11 a.m., they were in my office. That night, about 11:30 p.m., his AGF's PA nephew was in my house, and I warned him. I said, don't ask him not to call me.
Well, we're all aware that the presidency, the government wanted to mention the names, but they said, look, they had legal explanations, and then they thought they had to back off from naming those names. We've heard what you've said, Mr. George.
I will end up by saying this. We celebrate mediocrity. Mark Carney, the governor of the Bank of England, is Canadian. He is not British. We need to get people who can do the job to do the job in this country.
All right, Mr. George Ubo is the CEO of Panic Alert Security Systems. Thank you for coming on this morning. We'll be back in a moment. Join us again.